What's up, everybody? Dethwar here. All is not okay in Ba Sing Se, as they say. You see, my friend Mutahar here, well, it seems this beautiful man has come down with a case of what scientists are now calling post-engineer clarity. You see, it's a very, very contagious disease. If you do not have an engineering degree and you catch this disease, you will think you have an engineering degree, and you will tell people that you do have an engineering degree, and then people will cancel you on Twitter. That's essentially what we're talking about today. Mutahar has been called out for not actually having an engineering degree, but telling people that he is a computer science engineer. Now, personally, I like Mutahar. I have no problem with him. I don't agree with all the things he has to say. Sometimes I think he says dumb things. I don't care. I don't have to agree with everybody on everything, and either do you. We do not need to all be the same and have the same brain, okay? We can have differing opinions and debate those opinions civilly and not need to hate each other for it. That is called being a normal adult and a functioning member of society where we can have intellectual discourse with one another. However, this is, I guess in a way you could argue a little disingenuous to tell your audience that you're a computer science engineer or whatever, and you work in IT and cybersecurity, but not actually have the degree. However, I do recall him say before that he was a college dropout, so I would just like to point out, if he does actually work in IT and cybersecurity, which is still possible without actually going to college, then he's not really lying about YouTube just being a hobby and being his job, or not being his job. He's not lying about doing cybersecurity or IT and being an expert in it. If he does it for a living and he's immersed in it every day, I would venture to argue that that would be telling the truth. And the reason I would say this is because you don't actually need a degree to work in IT or cybersecurity. I actually am personally friends with somebody who works for a big company that does work in IT cybersecurity with that company. I'm not going to get into any more information on that. In fact, I happen to know another person who didn't even go to college as well. Neither one of them went to college, but he didn't go to college, and he was actually just a hacker who got caught by the NSA and then got a job. And I know another person who's also very famous who happened to be somewhat in a similar situation named Edward Snowden, who happened to work for the NSA. But this isn't a video about Edward Snowden, we're not getting all that. My point is that you very well can get a job in IT or cybersecurity in a big company or government agency or whatever, and still not have a degree in computer engineering. It's not a requirement to do that job or be an expert in that type of field. However, it is a little disingenuous to call yourself a computer science engineer and not actually have the degree, I guess. I personally just do not care that much. I think this is kind of overblown. If I'm being real, the only real drama that I've ever had any sort of disdain at Mutahar for was the post-Nux Clarity drama, which we did get that amazing title that inspired this video's title, so we can thank him for that. I do think it was messed up of him to bend the knee to Reddit and then throw Nux Taku under the bus like that, because I have had friends stab me in the back before, and it's never fun to have who you think is your friend turn around and stab you in the back. It never feels good. That's all I can really say about that. But the other drama that I can think of off the top of my head, the Switch 2 drama, really stupid. That was just really stupid, and he shouldn't have apologized, in my opinion. I think apologizing for that was the worst idea. And I really hope he doesn't apologize for this. Maybe he can clarify a little bit, but I don't think we need an apology here. This is just kind of ridiculous. I kind of just hope he ignores it, doesn't address it, and moves on. Because this is just really dumb. But we're going to be watching a video from Westjett about it. Link to that will be down in the video description, obviously. Go check them out after this video is done. Show the original video your support. But we're going to be watching this video and learning all the lore behind the situation, because I don't actually know everything that's going on with this situation. So maybe there will be some info here that will enlighten me a little bit. But before we do, if you find you enjoyed this video, do not forget to smash that subscribe button and notification bell, because we need to up those numbers, or Ludwig will come in your room in the middle of the night and he will get his goo all over you. If you don't believe me, oh man, you know what, I hope you don't believe me, because when Ludwig shows up, it'll be all the sweeter. Anyway, take it away, Ludwig.
Let's up those numbers!
Let's go ahead and get right into this video.
massive day for the unemployed. Mutahar just got exposed for lying about his job for like 10 years. Apparently, he's been lying about his credentials for well over 10 years and deceiving his audience.
I'm a dropout myself.
Guys, I have to be honest with you. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. And I know a thing or two about cybersecurity. I'm just kidding. I didn't work at Blizzard.
I've never finished university.
Dropout, liar, fraud. A creator by the name of Nick Andros dropped this bombshell, and by golly, let's check it out.
Hey, YouTube isn't my job. Thank God my job isn't YouTube.
YouTube is not my job. YouTube is not my job.
Do you guys think Mutahar's actual job is, maybe, if it's tech support, maybe he works in, like, a scam call center? I'm just kidding. That was absurdly not okay. I'm sorry. But, you know, we really don't know what his actual job supposedly is. It's definitely YouTube, guys. We know what his job is. But, like, his other supposed job, because he says he has another job all the time. Do you guys think maybe we could get Pierogi to find out which call center he's working at? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, enough. This is just being mean. But in all honesty, though, not gonna lie, YouTube is his job. Okay, I know he says this. I just don't agree. Okay. Now, I don't remember actually if I showed this in the intro. I don't think I did. But before I started the video, I was curious because I remember in a not that far back video of Mutahar's that I watched, he said, and I don't remember which one it was, so don't ask, but he specifically said that YouTube is not his job, which he's said more than once. It's a hobby. However, I would like to know what job he's working in IT that's making him more than 32 to 91K estimated revenue in the past 28 days. I would like to know what IT guy makes over $1 million a year. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know any IT professionals that are making that kind of money. And if he is, I don't know, that would just be mind-blowing. I'm fairly certain YouTube is his job, because that's apparently about the estimate that Mr. Beast's website says that he's making on YouTube. And I obviously can't guarantee the accuracy of said estimate, but what I can say is that Nux Taku before has brought this up, in his own view stats, I mean, not Mutahar's, but he has shown his and said that it was pretty close to accurate for AdSense. I mean, that's just AdSense. You guys also have to remember, there are sponsor deals, merch, other things you get with YouTube. It's not just your AdSense. So, we do need to take that into consideration, because you could then make the argument, let's just say Mutahar really does have this other job. Which job pays him way more money? And he's obviously working both of them like a real job, if theoretically he does have this other job as a cybersecurity IT guy. Which job's making him more money? I'm going to venture to guess it's YouTube and not the IT position. Now, you could also make the theoretical argument that if his YouTube channel dies, then he has the ability to step and just basically act like nothing happened because he still has an income from this main job. However, I don't really think that would even matter because he's probably made more than enough money that if his channel were to die off, he could probably just do nothing if he spends responsibly and, you know, not blow all his money and he'd be fine. I can't imagine that the extra 70K-ish a year that IT guys generally make would really make a difference to a guy who's making that in a month off YouTube. I just can't. But that's my personal opinion. Again, I really don't care about all this that much. I don't think this is that big of a deal. But I do think that Mutahar is being a wee bit disingenuous, whether he's trying to sell himself as more authoritative in the industry he likes to talk about on YouTube, or whether, you know, because when you have authority behind what you're saying, it does get the viewer to take you more seriously. For example, if you were to put in the title, I watch Better Call Saul, okay, nobody's gonna click that. However, if you put a picture of yourself in a suit and then you put under there and say lawyer watches and lawyer reacts to Better Call Saul, suddenly people are going to want to watch that. Mutahar may be using that strategy. And that's a very common thing. I mean, I don't even care about, like, certain things. I didn't even care about nuclear physics until I watched Nuclear Physicist Reacts. Okay? And now I know way more about nuclear power than I ever wanted to know. But I know it. And nuclear weaponry and stuff in general, just because this guy covers everything. But I, like, binge watched the channel, which is just kind of ridiculous. But I was interested. I went down a rabbit hole. I learned about something called Project Sundial. And then I was like, oh my god, Edward Teller is insane. And then I just completely just started digging into this and watching all of this guy's videos because he made a video on it. And I'm sure you guys could probably figure out which nuclear physicist reacts I'm talking about. Anyway, that's not the point here. The point is that you get authority by having those credentials. So what Mutahar can do here is then use that to further his own credibility in the eyes of the audience. Am I saying that's what he's doing? No. Am I saying there's the possibility? Yeah, anything is possible. It's possible. But I'm not accusing him of anything because I have no proof of anything. And I don't want to, for one, I don't want to defame him because that's just, I don't have any problems with Mutahar. I don't want to call him a liar or anything like that because I don't have proof of any of this. You don't know people's lives off the internet, so you have no way to know that. But I will say that the possibility is always there, because you don't know anybody on the internet. You can't know anything for sure. Yeah, you don't know who you're watching. People act one way on the internet and then can act totally differently in real life. And sometimes they could be the same, and sometimes their online personality is just a amped up version of their real life personality. It depends. You just don't know because these famous people, you're unable to hang out with them and find out for yourself. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's continue the video.
YouTube is not my job.
YouTube is not my job.
YouTube is not my job.
I use YouTube as a hobby. This is not a job for me, okay?
All right, so if YouTube isn't his job, what is his job, you might ask yourself. I guess
Unemployed! That's his job. No, I'm just kidding. Unemployed rich YouTuber brags about not being unemployed rich YouTuber. I can't believe it. It's almost like he's embarrassed to be a YouTuber. If I had to really guess here what's going on, I think half of it might be his family being part of the deal here. Because he's talked several times about his dad being a doctor. Being Jewish, I have had experience with the weird, strict dynamic of your parents saying you have 4 options when you grow up: doctor, lawyer, engineer, or accountant. So I personally have experienced that myself. My father told me that growing up. And I could totally see Mutahar's parents doing the same thing. I know in some Asian cultures it's like that. I'm sure his father, being Indian, maybe it's like that. And I'm sure it's possible. So I'm not going to put it past him that maybe his dad sees his videos and maybe he wants his dad to think he has a normal job because his dad doesn't understand YouTube. I'll give you an example. Say that my channel blows up and I make like 10 mil a year off YouTube or something. I could go to my dad and tell him that I do YouTube for a living, and he would tell me, even though I'm making millions of dollars, to get a real job. That's the type of family dynamic that a lot of cultures have, where they see positions and they don't understand what the position is, and they have no respect for it because it doesn't sound like it requires you to use your brain or any form of intelligence. And considering Mutahar's father is a doctor, and he's Indian, it's very much a possibility that his dad maybe wanted him to go into something like engineering, which is why he says what he says, so that he can impress his parents. That's a theory. I don't think that's actually what's happening, but it's also possible. Most likely, maybe he's just, doing what guys do sometimes and just, running his mouth, overinflating things, or maybe he's telling the truth to a degree. Who knows, man? I really think this is just kind of ridiculous, but let's go on.
This is like Nintendo reviewer.
So what is that job? If you ask Mutahar's fans, they think he's a cybersecurity expert, an IT professional, a video editor. Ethan said, day trader? There seems to be an awful lot of uncertainty about this definitely real job that...
Okay, day trader is not a real job. I don't care. I literally went to school for finance. I went to one of the best business schools there is in the United States for a degree that I don't use. I used to day trade because I thought the degree would somehow help me, and it obviously did not help much unless you want to know about how to trade long-term stuff, which is not that hard to learn. You don't have to get a degree for that. I mainly just got the degree because it sounded good, and I wanted my father to stop nagging me to get a medical degree because I am scared of blood. So, long story short, I did nothing with the degree, but I did day trade. Well, it wasn't really, I did more swing trading, but I did trade stocks for a while. Trading stocks or crypto or any of that is not, at the best argument you can make for stocks is maybe educated gambling, but it's still gambling. Same with crypto. All of it is a gamble. That is not a job. It sounds cool to people who don't know anything about it. And you can make a lot of money with it if you get lucky. But let's be real. Stocks are literally just Wall Street gambling. That's all. It's just a massive casino. That's all it is.
Mutahar has.
My apologies for not censoring the J slur, but Mutahar, you can't have the pie and eat it too. You gotta be unemployed in these streets, you dig? Saying?
Mutahar's also insisted throughout his career that he is an engineer.
I'm an engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm an engineer.
I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer.
I'm only an engineer. Oh, I'm an engineer.
I'm an engineer. I'm
I worked at Blizzard. Not really.
just an engineer.
Tech support stolen valor is...
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. Tech support stolen valor is amazing. Whoever came up with that one, you win, bro. You get the internet for today. That's good. Anyway, guys, down in the comments, I would like everybody to write that you all worked for just pick any IT company or company that has IT. Say you worked there. We are going to fill the comments with stolen IT valor in honor of Mutahar. We are going to make him feel like he's not alone, because nobody wants to be alone, right? So everybody in the comments, just go ahead and write, I worked at XX place. Even if you didn't, it doesn't matter. Especially Blizzard. Yeah, actually, just write that you worked at Blizzard. Why not? Just go with that.
is crazy.
I'm an engineer.
But there's multiple types of engineers, so
Or just put that you were an engineer. That works too.
what kind of engineer is he?
I'm a fucking computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. Dude, I'm a fucking computer engineer.
I'm a
I sit
YouTuber.
down
Why are
and
you asking
with
me?
code. And I'm just like a computer engineer.
The dude straight up went through hella transcripts and found out that Mutahar was contradicting himself in quite a bit of them. At first,
Okay, like, you didn't have to put together the compilation, though. You could have just done, like, a couple. It would have been fine. I don't really get, like, the hatred and why this guy felt the need to go through and do all this. Like, I get it. But, like, this just... And I know he probably just wanted views and stuff, but, like... And maybe he doesn't like Mutahar. But at the same time, like, this just feels a little bit excessive. I don't know. You don't have... I've never been a fan of when people take somebody saying the same thing 500 times and then just loop it all together. Because then it's repetitive. It's like, all right, I got the point after the first or... the third time, you didn't have to loop it a sixth time. I get the point. And the other thing is that I've heard Mutahar say these things in his own videos before because I watch his content. So I was already aware of this stuff in my case. Maybe you guys weren't, but I just feel like we didn't need the repeat of Mutahar saying the same thing over and over again. Although, I guess you could argue maybe it's entertaining. I don't know.
first he was saying he was an engineer, then he switched it up as well. Next thing you know, he worked at Blizzard for...
He did work at Blizzard. What are you doing? Trying to take his valor? Are you trying to take that away from him? That Mutahar worked at Blizzard? I'm just kidding. That we know he didn't work at Blizzard. But that was, this is turning in a little bit to the whole pirate software sort of deal. See, I always thought that Mutahar worked for the IRS and was calling me trying to get my social security number. I'm just kidding. That's messed up. Let's just move on.
7 years.
Based on what I've read, it's actually illegal to call yourself an engineer if you are not a licensed engineer.
You know what? I heard enough. Toss this dude in jail. Do not pass go. Do not...
Bruh. That is the most ridiculous thing ever. Are we actually talking about throwing Mutahar in jail for this? That is so freaking stupid, man. There is no way that people are actually calling for Mutahar to be arrested for calling himself an engineer. Guys, apparently what I told you to do in the comments is illegal. So don't call yourself an engineer. Just say you worked at Blizzard. Let's move on.
Collect 200.
For Mutahar to be a licensed computer engineer, for him to be able to legally call himself a computer engineer, or an engineer in general, he would need a 4-year degree, 4 years of training, and to pass the National Professional Practice Exam.
Turns out he really was some ordinary gamer. But I get...
There's a license for this? Like, you need a license to become a computer science engineer? I didn't know that. That's actually interesting to learn. I honestly had no interest in becoming one, but I'm glad I know it now. As far as, like, actually going to get that degree and everything, I don't know. I feel like this is stuff you could learn on your own. I feel like you could just use the internet and learn all this stuff, put a portfolio together and get a job at a company. I mean, people have done it. So I don't really know why you would need to. I mean, engineer, wouldn't that, like, imply that you're designing computers, though? Wouldn't that be what, like, that would, like, imply that you are helping to create, like, the engineering behind said computers that are out there? Or am I wrong? I could be totally wrong. I don't know. I'm not super versed on this sort of stuff. I mean, I know, the only reason I'm saying this, I have experience with, like, working on vehicles and stuff, from years of working as a technician. So I do have an idea of, you know, mainly because I also looked into getting a mechanical engineering degree, because I'm pretty good with understanding that sort of stuff. So I did think about going back to school to get it. And I do have an idea of what it entails. And if I'm being totally honest, the only reason that I wanted to get it is because the engineers put vehicles together very poorly. And I would like to make it so that the mechanics are not cursing the engineers, or, you know, basically be the change that you want to be in the world, that sort of thing. But I didn't realize that there was, like, actual licenses and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, I knew for going to law school and stuff, and medical school and stuff, you had to get licenses. You had to, like, pass the bar, or get a medical license, all that stuff. I didn't know the same thing applied for engineering, so that's, you know, interesting to learn. But as far as, like, what an engineer does, I would think that that would imply that Mutahar would have to be, like, you know, designing computers, wouldn't it? But I could be totally wrong. Maybe, because wouldn't it be like I don't know. Maybe there's a different thing. Maybe computer engineer just means, like, coding and stuff. I could be completely wrong. I don't actually know. Maybe it is just the coding and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm totally ignorant on this subject, and that kind of makes me care less about Mutahar lying about it, not gonna lie.
It's even funnier because apparently he's a video engineer too now.
I'm a video engineer now. I think I know how this f***ing works.
Speaking out of an engineer, like, if I wasn't a computer science engineer, I wouldn't f***ing speak about Elon being an idiot.
You don't need a degree to call Elon an idiot. Like, a homeless person outside my 7-Eleven's doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know why he said that. That's kind of dumb. Yeah, bro, you don't need a degree to call Elon dumb, bro. He says dumb stuff all the time. Like, I mean, he's done a lot of great things too, in my opinion, but also he does say a lot of really dumb stuff and crash out a lot. As far as, like, the other thing, though, that he said about video engineering, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to be editing this video, and I've edited a lot of videos. Does that make me a video engineer? I feel like it doesn't. But what exactly is a video engineer? Is that just somebody that edits videos and has a degree in video engineering? Is that, like, a thing? Like, are there, like, engineers for things that, like, I didn't know existed? Like, How deep does the engineer rabbit hole go? Now I'm about to go after this video and go and start looking up every single type of engineer that exists so I can see the most ridiculous ones. That sounds like a fun thing I might do after this. As far as the video thing goes, obviously I'm not a video engineer. I'm just editing a crappy YouTube video, which is kind of what Mutahar does with, you know, he edits YouTube videos. So, I mean, I don't really think that qualifies, man. Not gonna lie.
This is why, as a cybersecurity engineer,
This guy's like the jack of all trades, Johnny Sins of engineering. The stolen valor thing said
Okay, that was cold. That was just diabolical. Not gonna lie.
earlier is right. It's like he wants to dip his toes into the unemployed drama sphere without, you know, actually feeling like a loser. You know, own up to it. Who cares? They getting mad, you getting rich.
Mutahar clearly wants the prestige.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't get why he cares. Like, he's obviously getting rich off of YouTube, so, like, even he's probably been rich off YouTube. So, I mean, I don't really understand the need to even, like, market himself as all these different types of engineers, bro. Like, yeah, engineers make okay money, but they ain't making your level of money. Like, I would straight up own it, bro. I'm making tons of money off YouTube. I'm gonna straight up tell people I'm a YouTuber. I don't know what I'm gonna tell the banks. I don't know if I'm going to go in there and I need a loan or something and they ask what I do for work. Maybe I'll make it sound slightly, I don't know. I guess maybe you'd have to just tell them what I don't even see why that would matter. As long as you could provide income. Yeah, why would you lie about this? I mean, yeah, maybe it doesn't sound great. In my case, maybe I care less because I'm married. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I have a wife that loves me and I'm very happy in my life. I don't have a reason to care what other people really think about my choice of career path. Like, if I'm getting tons of money doing something, I really don't care as long as it's legal. You know, I don't see what the problem is. If you're making tons of money with YouTube, then there's obviously, you know, no reason. I know people are embarrassed all the time. I hear creators say, oh, I say I'm in like digital marketing or something if somebody asks me, which is a little disingenuous. I mean, it's accurate but not accurate, because this, I guess you could argue maybe it is, but it's not. You're a YouTuber, bro. You're a YouTuber. You make videos. Just say it. Just be straightforward with it. Maybe they won't understand it. I don't know why anybody gives a crap. Why do people care so much what other people think? That's something I never understood. Because I personally do not care what other people think. Like, why should I care what somebody thinks about me and how I make my income? Are they spending my money for me? Are they doing the job for me? No. Then why the hell should I give a crap, man? I don't care. Like, you worry about your life, I'll worry about my life. That's how I feel about it. And that's how I feel everybody should feel about it. You shouldn't be embarrassed by what you do for work. And Mutahar should try to learn that life lesson, because the sooner he picks that up, the sooner he'll be able to move on from this dumb drama
Of being perceived as an engineer, given that he's been calling himself an engineer for the past 10 years. And he uses this title to make himself more authoritative.
but I'm an engineer. I know how this stuff is going, so I'm not even speaking out of pocket right here, okay? If you want to disagree with me, feel free, but you're actually wrong.
Feel free, but you're actually wrong.
As somebody who is a computer, engineer, somebody who understands computer code, for instance,
It's like that pirate software code meme, and I don't understand shit here. So if anyone smart in the comments wants to enlighten us, go ahead.
like, it's a really good explanation of why, like, I picked.
Yeah, like, when it came down to the whole pirate software thing with this code, I had, like, no idea what I was looking at when they brought, like, I watched Code Jesus's video on the Game Maker thing, and I had no idea what I was looking at. I tried to learn some code so I could better understand it, but, man, I don't know, you're not learning that overnight, and I don't have the time, or the, like, I don't plan to do anything with it, so, like, I don't have the motivation. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to become an expert at coding just so I could understand how bad Pirate Software's code was? I wasn't about to do all that. Maybe I wouldn't even have to be that good at it, because it sounds like his coding is that bad. But, like, at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and learn it just so I can understand, like, a meme, basically. Like, it ain't worth all that.
Engineering is like the road to go down when I was studying. I'm like,
So he would have an engineering degree.
I went to university for computer sciences, and that's it.
education background, asking because a lot of CS knowledge.
If he lied to Dr. K, I swear to God, I'll be angry. You don't want to see me angry.
Okay, so at least a computer science degree.
I thought when I got into university for a while, and I dropped out like a semester in because I was like, okay, no.
Oh, he dropped out after a semester.
You know, when I was in college, I took an information system fundamentals course. And considering Mutahar dropped out after his first semester, he would have had to have still been on core credits. So, does that mean... I mean, he could have probably taken something like a single course or two, like a 101 type course targeting the degree he wanted with computer stuff. But would that mean I'm as qualified as Mutahar? Because I don't know crap. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably studied more than me in his free time. But, like, at the same time, yeah, I could see a little bit of a problem with that. But at the same time, I don't know. I think this is kind of getting overblown, but okay.
I'm a dropout myself. I've never finished university, but I'm not going to dog on like school. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to learn to be valuable. Yeah, if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, if you're going to be in the STEM field.
And now he dropped out all of a sudden. It's like he spun a web of lies and, you know, got lost in his own sauce. Some ordinary spider.
Okay, that just reminded me. The other day, when I went outside, it was dark out, right? I was going to my car. I remember where we were going to the store or something. And I go out to the car and I see I almost walked into this massive web with the biggest spider I have ever seen. Dude, I don't know what kind of spider it was, but it was a nope. So that's probably what type it was. It was a nope spider. Bro, I don't fucking like spiders.
I don't even know how to explain this, you know. Maybe he started out just, like, kind of, like, slightly exaggerating his qualifications, and then he just, you know, got sort of caught in the lie and ended up living it.
I feel like there's a weird misconception. People think I'm, like, some fucking crazy degree holder. It's like, no. No, I would have been way more in fucking university debt if I went down that fucking route.
I sure wonder why people might have that impression.
Is it bad if you don't get a STEM degree? Look, I'm going to sound biased as fuck, but STEM degrees all the way.
I mean, I would think that people would assume you have the degree when you're calling yourself an engineer. It makes you sound like you actually got it. So I guess I could see the point of contention with that. It does sound kind of slimy, not gonna lie.
I'm gonna sound biased because, you know, as an engineer, like, you know, you want to get the degree that's gonna...
Diamonds are made under pressure, and Mutahar here is still stuck on iron armor. Like, at this point, I'm expecting a classic Mutahar trademarked apology video, and, you know, I hope he grabs a ukulele.
Other times he says he's...
That'd be great. Mutahar, I hope it happens. Ukulele apology, buddy. I don't even care if you know how to play a ukulele. Just make it. Just strum it. It doesn't even have to sound good. Just learn, like, 3 chords. And then just play the ukulele while you apologize. That would be amazing.
He's a former...
Oh, and I would 100% be reacting to that.
...engineer.
So, like, being a former engineer, like, I virtualize, like, everything, so I, like, contain shit. And
Even an ex-engineer.
The coolest ways possible. I'm like a fucking ex-engineer.
But here's the thing.
What?
He's been saying he used to be an engineer, or that he worked as an engineer, for 10 years.
You know what? F it. I'm unsubscribing from you, Mutahar.
I wanted
What?
to share sort
Wait, that wasn't even me. What? That's kind of cold, though. That's mean. Oh, it's not that big a deal, bro. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I didn't realize it was to that extent. I don't watch every video Mutahar posts and every single piece of content he's in. So, like, I don't know every single thing he's ever said. But I didn't realize he pushed the whole engineering thing this hard. This is a little bit crazy. I mean, apparently he is the master of engineering. He is all of the engineering. If you ask him what engineering degree or field he is an expert in, it will change with the day, or if you catch him on a good day, he will just say all of them.
of my engineering background with you. Okay, I worked as a fucking engineer. Alright, before I went into this. I also like to mess around with technology. I myself used to be an engineer before I went into the video editing route.
Mutahar started his channel in 2012, the same year he turned 18. By video editing route, he means that he switched careers after his channel began taking off.
Yeah, so he became a YouTuber. I don't even know why you would generalize it as it's only video editing. There is more to YouTube than just video editing. It sounds cooler, but it's not. It's just one part of the process. depending on the type of video you do. There's like research and then development to it, and then you have to sit down and record it, and then you have to edit it. And it's not exactly like, oh, I can just edit something. I mean, I guess you can with AI. You could just put slop out, but you can't do that on YouTube or anything anymore. Not that I ever would, because honestly, YouTube is being filled with AI garbage. But honestly, there is a lot more to YouTube that normal people do not understand when you're doing this sort of content, at least content that's done the right way or properly, whatever, done decently. There is a lot more to it than just let me sit down in front of the computer and ramble and decide at that moment what it is that I'm going to talk about, and then just throw it out on the internet. Or let me just put together a few edits with, some like CapCut or some video editor or whatever. I don't know, whatever video editor people use. I don't use it, but just example, like Camtasia or something. I don't know. Let me just throw some edits on this thing of me talking, put a few cool transitional slides on there. We'll call it a day. There's a lot more to it than that. But video editing is just like a portion of the process. For example, if you want to do like a fully scripted video, on another channel in a past life, I would write down and script the entire video. It'd be like a 22-page script. And then I would have to read said script and record that separately, because I was doing like a voiceover thing at the time. Or if I wanted to do another thing in another, I've had several channels. But if you were to put yourself in the video, you do still have to record it and do a good job to where you don't seem like you're reading a script, or at least having notes in front of you, whatever. Keeping yourself organized is what I'm trying to say. And then you have to edit said video. And then there's the after management with YouTube, which is like basically video aftercare type stuff. It's a whole lot of stuff, There's also like SEO understanding, researching trends, all of that stuff. It's not just like, oh, you could just slop something out there. But video editing does, I guess, sound cooler to people who don't understand the work that you do to make a YouTube channel function. Because let's be real, if YouTube was actually easy to do and it wasn't a massive accomplishment to say that you make a living off of YouTube and you can support yourself just on YouTube, or that you are actually rich off of YouTube, then everybody would be doing it. That's the thing. It's not easy. You have to be consistent, and you have to actually be able to produce content people want to watch. And if you can't do that, which 99.9% of people cannot do, then you're not going to make it on YouTube. So I would be proud of it. It's an achievement, my guy. Wear it like a badge of honor. Honestly, it's probably harder than, to succeed on YouTube and get to where Mutahar is at than it is to get any of those engineering degrees that he claims he has. The amount of luck involved is absurd. Because you'd have to, I don't want to say it's harder, particularly. Maybe that's not the correct. Actually, maybe it is. Because I think there's probably, you probably have an easier time getting an engineering degree than you would making it on YouTube. That's what this platform has become like. The competition is extremely fierce. So, I don't know. You could make the argument. Engineers are probably a lot more important than YouTubers, obviously. But as for which one is harder to achieve, one is sort of a dream. The other is sort of like, it's a dream, but it's achievable with hard work. That's what I'm getting at. YouTube, you could put in hard work for years and make it nowhere, and beat your head off the wall and not understand why you're not getting anywhere. That's the difference here. Mutahar should be proud of this. He has made a super successful YouTube channel. So I don't quite understand why he would be ashamed of that. Unless it's for his parents or something. That's the only thing I could think of. I can't otherwise justify it in my own mind.
Skinny, slightly overweight kid in America, what they want to be when they grow up. They'll say YouTuber, and somehow, Mutahar thinks he's better than all of us. He's a big boy engineer. Then again, I kind of see his struggle. If somebody asks me in real life what I do for work, I say something stupid like digital marketing.
I work.
There it is. I literally said that earlier. I said earlier, a lot of YouTubers will lie and tell people they do digital marketing. Now, you could maybe say it's because they don't want people to know that they do YouTube, but then again, if they've already, maybe they don't want you to know that you're, like, famous online, whatever. But I still wouldn't be embarrassed by it. Like, that's all I'm saying. I would not be embarrassed to tell personal contacts that you trust that you do YouTube. I just don't see the problem with it. Or for, like, financial things or something. I just don't see how that is such an issue. You don't have to tell them what it is you do on YouTube. Just tell them you do YouTube. That's it. Like, and a lot of people, you know, are not going to care. Like, it's 2025. At this point, everybody knows that YouTube can make you a lot of money. Unless you're, like, a boomer. That's probably the only way you wouldn't know.
In film and TV before I still don't have a fancy fucking degree, okay?
And there you go, I filmed it, alright? I used my film degree to something.
He calls it a film degree, but it's actually a 2-year broadcasting/videography diploma he got from Humber College between 2013 and 2015.
Wait, guys, it says diploma/certificate. It might be a degree. This is probably like an associate arts sort of thing, isn't it? If it's a 2-year? Unless this is a certificate, but I don't know. This sounds more like an associate arts thing. I think that this might just be wrong. I could be off base, but it sounds like some sort of associate arts thing.
Who cares? There's nothing to be ashamed of getting a diploma or like a certificate for cinematography. You're pursuing your passions, you know? Then again, I understand like the pressure your parents can put on you, which is like more common in Southeast Asian or just any general broad Asian culture.
Bro, was he about to say Jew? Maybe I'm being biased here, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty accurate. That's what I was saying earlier. You get pressure by your parents. I literally experienced that firsthand, because Jewish households do that just as much as Asian, and yeah, it's very common. So I can totally get it if that's why Mutahar is doing what he's doing. I don't know if that's the reason, but I feel like that could be it.
But lying about this is honestly, like, insane.
If he went back to studying to get an actual engineering degree, he never mentioned anything about it. Not a single slip. Mutahar was never a real engineer, but he's been calling himself one for a decade because of tech jobs he supposedly had before 2013 or 2012.
You know what Mutahar could totally do? If he already has all the knowledge, just to do this. He has the money, so that, like, if he wanted to address this and really show everybody up, even if he doesn't want to use it, he could just go to college and get an engineering degree. He could just go do it. And then he could say it. If he doesn't actually have it, just go get it and then shut everybody up that way. I mean, it's a pretty simple solution. It's a lot of work, but I mean, by the time you get it, everybody will probably have done forgot. But I'm sure people will be thinking that the journey's pretty cool. You could share it with people, what you're working on, what you're doing. Try to, you know, bring people in as you're trying to earn this degree. And it would definitely make you look better in the eyes of the people that are talking, you know, talking crap about you, man.
I never tell people like what I do. Like I never tell people anything, right? Like I don't even tell people I'm not an engineer. I haven't been one for like years.
This is like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. This is like devastating. I thought my slop.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it. I'm so devastated. I'm gonna have such a hard time when I go to sleep tonight knowing that Mutahar's not a real engineer. Oh my god, I'm just gonna lay there, toss and turn and think and just say, babe, oh my god, what? I can't sleep. Mutahar, he's not an engineer, and my life is a lie. I don't know what to think. I need you to get me something. Go get me. Just take me to the doctor. I need to go get a prescription for some anxiety meds. I can't deal with this anymore. I am so devastated by Mutahar. Maybe some antidepressants while I'm at it. I don't know. Just something to make me feel better because this is just ruining my life. No, in all seriousness, this is just dumb.
Was handed to me on a silver platter by a professional, not some kind of phony. Bro should have never put on that medallion.
Oh, the Sonichu medallion! Oh, I always forget he did that. Yo, his life has been a lot worse since he did that. Yeah. That thing really is cursed, man. That is, if you ever see one of those medallions, don't touch it. Just turn around and walk the other way. Or take a lighter and a can of Axe body spray or something like that, or hairspray or something, and incinerate that thing. You don't need that in your life, man. You just don't. I feel bad for anybody who puts that on. If somebody sends you that in the mail, report them to the police, because they're trying to off you. No, don't actually do that. But at the same time, pretty bad, man. I very much don't recommend trying on a Sonichu medallion.
No.
I'm a computer engineer. It reminds me of another quote. I used to work. Mutahar, the burger flipping engineer. Okay. I heard Mutahar has been deleting his backlog of YouTube videos recently, and now I see this. Damn.
No, I'm video editor. You know, that's how I pay for the strip club and the home.
In 2019,
By the way, did you guys know that Mutahar worked at Blizzard? He didn't. But, did you know he was an engineer? He isn't, I guess. But, you know, he wants you to think it. And that's what counts. Guys, can we just, you know, instead of being mean, you know what we should do? We should all just collectively be like, you know what, Mutahar? You are an engineer. You are the engineer. And then we all, you know, just start calling him an engineer. Eventually, he might get so sick of everybody calling him an engineer that he still just tells people to stop calling him an engineer.
he conflated being a video engineer with being a computer engineer.
I'm a computer engineer, so I really computer video.
Seriously though, what the actual hell is a video engineer? I have never heard of a video engineer. I've heard of like directors. I've heard of editors. I've heard of things like, but what is a video engineer? I've heard of cinematographers. I've never heard this term. Is this a real thing? Did he make this up? I've never heard of it. Maybe it is a real thing, but like I've never heard of this before in my life. This is the first time I'm hearing a video engineer being a real profession. I just don't get it. You could then argue that anybody who has ever made a video is a video engineer. Even if it's crap. Because you engineered a video. So I just don't get, I don't understand it. It's like in a way in my head it just feels like it's a redundant statement. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it's a real thing and I'm just dumb. Which is totally possible. I'm pretty stupid.
Video engineer, whatever you want to call it. I'm one of those people, so...
Again, totally different qualifications.
Now, for those of you who don't know, one of my side hobbies turned basic, you know, general second profession of mine is day trading, swing trading, whatever you want to call it. I like to sit in the mornings, sip my coffee, you know, go on the NASDAQ.
Bro. My 100-year-old grandmother she trades stocks. It is not a profession. You can make a crap load of money off it. There are people that have made millions trading stocks, don't get me wrong. But that is not a job. That is legitimately just something you do when you have extra money to play around with. Anybody who tells you, whether it be these people like, I don't know if I should name names, but these guru types, okay? I know a few, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want to get in trouble. Actually, no, I will, you know, no, I'm not going to name names. But anybody who tries to tell you that they have a formula that will get you rich off of trading stocks is lying to you. The only way you get rich fast off of trading stocks is you get super lucky. That is it. There is no other way to do it. Yes, you can make some money, or you could lose all your money. Why don't you go and just, you know, go diamond hands on something like GME or something. Go trade on margin and just, you know, what if you thought that was going to the moon? You bought it $500 and then it just crashed to where it is now. You know what would have happened? You would have lost so much money. Let's just say you put say you had like $100,000 and you bought a ton of GME at $500. This is just an example. And you held it till today. thinking that you would have gotten, you know, a bunch of money out of it, you would have just been completely broke. And this is obviously just an example of a meme stock, but like it's the same thing with any stock. Like you don't know if I like when it comes to stocks, I think that the best quote is actually from The Wolf of Wall Street. When that guy says, nobody knows, and I don't remember his name, but when Jordan Belfort is sitting down with this dude, the first dude he met that's working at the brokerage or whatever, selling these stocks to people or whatever. He sits down with this guy and he tells him, nobody knows if the stock is going to go up or down. It's a fugazi, it's a fugazi, it's fugazi, it's fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It never landed. Because that's the truth. Nobody knows except maybe the company insiders, but insider trading is not legal. But at the same time, not to say it doesn't happen, but it's really, you know, it's just gambling. There's no other way to explain it. So I don't know why Mutahar would act like this is a real job. This is something that like an 18-year-old who's like just got out of high school, who somehow got like, you know, $10,000, $20,000 in their account, and they don't have a job. So, you know, they were gifted some money, so they start trading it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like some of those types of kids. They show up on like Wall Street Bets and stuff, and they'll go on there and be like, I just lost all my money. That type of stuff. That's kind of how this sounds. People that think that this is a actual job. Now, I'm not going to say people don't do this every day and make money at it. I'm sure there is a select few that do, that have tons of money to play around with. But let's be real, man. If you have Mutahar's type of money, like say you have like, you know, a few mil in the bank, obviously I would hope it's not all in like one account or anything like that, but we're not going to get technical. Let's just say you have the money. I would invest that in like a Roth IRA or an indice or something like that. I index fund. I wouldn't put it in an individual stock. I have a family member who back in the 90s, he had about $3 million and he invested it off of the advice of his financial analyst into Circuit City. And he lost all of it. And my dad had to help bail him out and help him get back to, yeah, that was his retirement that he lost off the advice of an analyst at a bank because Circuit City went under. And my dad had to help bail him out. And, you know, so I mean, let's be real. Nobody knows anything what's going on with the stocks. So if anybody in the future ever tells you that you should trade stocks to get rich, don't listen to them. Unless you have extra money that you don't care to lose. Then give it a shot and see what happens. But if you don't have extra money and it's all the money you have, don't expect to just sit down at a computer, you know, when the market opens and stare at charts all day, think you're going to do technical analysis and get it right and somehow manage to, you know, beat the market, because the market makers will always beat you.
See what I can look pre-market, buy, sell, and be done by, what, 11 or something?
I'm also a crypto master. I trade bitcoins on the side. You cannot be an engineer.
Okay, Bitcoin is also kind of just gambling, but that's something I know a lot less about.
You're working a regular 9-to-5 job in an office and, you know, simultaneously freaking be glued to your screen losing hair day trading. You are not Bradley Cooper from Limitless. You are not that guy, pal. You are not that guy.
In 2021, he claimed his job was trading and investing.
My job right now, I just sit around and trade and invest. That's what my job is.
That's like something your unemployed bum friend says when you're like, dude, when are you gonna get a job? And he's like, day trading's a real job.
It's quite literally what I was just saying to you guys. That is exactly what I was just saying. I can't even like completely say that I've never done trading, because I have. And I've made money with it. But I just wouldn't recommend anybody do it and think it's a job. It's just not. That's all I'm trying to say. Because let's just say you go to work at McDonald's. Let me ask you this. Is there a chance you come home with less money after you worked your 8-hour shift at McDonald's? No, you're going to get paid, obviously. But there is a chance that you come home with nothing if you are doing trading for a living. In fact, you could go negative if you decide that you want to start trading on margin and shorting things. But that's a whole separate conversation.
I invest. That's my job now. I just sort of sit home and invest money.
Now, if I was ashamed of only being a YouTuber, that is the job I'd be claiming to have.
But you see, the ridiculous thing is that Mutahar really could just, like, take a few mil and drop it into, like, an index or Roth IRA or something like that and let it gain, like, several percentage points a year. And he would actually make, like, a crap load of money. That's the thing. If you have a ton of money, you can invest it in stuff like that. And suddenly, it does pay out, and you don't have to do much. So, I mean, you're getting paid kind of to just keep your money in it. And it's really, it's not the same thing as day trading, but it is kind of trade. You're still trading stocks if you're doing, like, you know, if you're investing it into things like that. But, like, well, not Roth IRAs, but the you know, into like an index or some index fund or something. But at the same time, that's only if you have, like, a crap load of money to work with. And you don't want to expect anything too crazy. Like, even if you're investing in, like, blue chips, right? Say you're investing in, like, Amazon, Google, stuff like that. You might gain a couple percentage points a year. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get anything super crazy. Maybe, like, a company like Tesla, you could have massive gains or massive losses, depending on the hype. But as far as, like, a normal stock goes, like a normal blue chip, we're not talking like lower price penny stocks or something, like we're talking like an actual blue chip stock. If you don't lose money, which with some big companies, you know, like big ones like Google and Amazon, you probably won't, you're still not going to make that massive return that, you know, you would think you would get. And you have to hold the stock for forever before you get those returns. You know, it's not going to be huge like that. Unless you're messing around with hundreds of millions of dollars in the market, then you would get massive returns. But that's, you know, kind of different. Obviously, even Mutahar probably is not messing around with hundreds of millions of dollars in the market. If he is, that's surprising. I'd love to know how he got that kind of money.
Asked by guests on his podcast about his computer work, he claimed it's only a hobby now.
I don't know how much you want to delve into this, but, like, you do, so do you do computer stuff on the side, or that's your main thing?
I literally just invest money. Like, I buy property and I invest in...
So it's this kitty.
Wait, so is it stocks or is he buying property? I mean, I would argue that landlording or real estate, stuff like that, is probably better. I mean, there's a lot of risk with that too, but it's its own thing. But I would still argue that it's probably a safer bet than stocks, investing in property. But at the same time, which is it? Is it stocks or is it property or what? I mean, come on, man.
Canadians' fault the housing market went up. I get it. No, like, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, at this point, I don't even think Mutahar himself knows what job he's doing.
So before YouTube, Mutahar did the computer, programming, cybersecurity work he thinks entitles him to call himself an engineer.
First, Dr. Disrespect isn't a doctor, and now Mutahar isn't an engineer. It's so...
No, I did not know Dr. Disrespect was not a doctor. I thought he was a doctor. Never mind. I was going to say something that YouTube probably would not like. We're not going to say that. Just, as long as he's not a pediatrician, it's fine. I'm just kidding. Seriously, Dr. Disrespect, I don't know if there was any, like, I don't know the whole story of that. I know what I heard, but, yeah, that's a whole separate thing that I don't really know how to go about talking about without violating YouTube's terms of service. So we're not going to do that because I'm not making a bunch of diddler jokes right now. So let's just move on.
Over for YouTube.
How many subs do you have on YouTube?
I think like 3.4 or 5 million or something. I don't know. I don't know the exact amount.
3.5, like 3.5 million. We'll say that. and you're still doing multiple 9-to-5s where you're running different businesses. You were talking about Q4
Yeah, I'm the
being
CEO of our
extremely
own
busy.
company. Like, I'm the CEO of
Right.
like our own group. We do a lot of like property and like asset investment around where we live.
Now he's a massive real estate tycoon? Like, what's going on?
You
Bro, does this man know the shadow clone jutsu or something? What the hell? How is he doing so much at once? Is this man just all over the place? He's like Kagebushin no jutsu, and he's just like spawning himself everywhere. And he's like, all right, you're a video engineer. You're a computer engineer. You over there, you're a mechanical engineer. You over there, you are a video... Oh, did I say video engineer? I don't know. And you over there, you're a property investor, and you're a stock trader. You're a stock engineer now. I made that up, but you are now a stock engineer. And you over there, you're a video... You're a YouTube engineer. That's a thing I just now came up with for Mutahar. He could call himself that now, actually. Just call yourself a YouTube engineer. How about that? That way, you could actually, you could just tell people you're a YouTuber and make it sound cool. Yeah, that's probably what YouTubers should start telling people. You just tell people when they ask what you do for a living, forget this whole digital marketing thing. Say, I'm a YouTube engineer. Because that just sounds amazing. People will be like, oh, what is that? Do you work for YouTube? Like, yeah, I engineer things. Videos. So, I don't know. That's really dumb. But seriously, how the hell is this man supposedly able to do so many things at once? This is wild, man. I mean, I don't know. This is just crazy.
You upload how many videos a week?
A day. Like, I upload it every day.
Jesus. This is why Jesus.
Okay, but look, in Mutahar's defense, his videos are not that hard to put together. He just sits down and talks, shows stuff. He just picks a topic and he just goes over it. There's not really like a ton of editing for him to do. His thumbnails are quite literally just a picture of his face. There's really not much to do there. So I can see how he could still have free time throughout the day to do other things when he doesn't actually have to put in the same effort that a lot of other YouTubers put in, because his pre-existing fame from being on YouTube for so long has allowed him to be grandfathered into the algorithm in such a way that all of his viewers know who he is, and he's just able to, you know, post whatever he wants and still gets views for the most part. That's what I'm saying. And when I say algorithm, I mean like he's in with his audience, like they know who he is. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, and why I always...
He really loves bathing in that praise, but it's not enough. He needs to flex more.
Well, that's like the algorithm tell, right? Like when you're like an engineer and somebody's...
I've never seen an expose of this magnitude on anybody, and you know, props to this guy. Subscribe to this guy's channel. He like did the work.
Cybersecurity.
I don't know. I feel like this guy, I mean, yeah, he did do the work, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like this is I don't feel like this video really needed to exist. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is just kind of a big nothing. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, credit to him for making it, but I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely just feel like this is kind of like really hating on Mutahar just to hate on him a little bit at the same time, because we can't really like verify a lot of this stuff. So like, it just feels like kind of like digs to dig. Like a lot of it, I guess we could verify, but then some of it's like, well, we don't know if he didn't actually do some of the things he says he did. So like, I don't know. Obviously, he's not an engineer, but you know what I mean. Like that doesn't mean he doesn't know some of the stuff, but or that he hasn't dabbled in things he claims to have been doing at the time he said it. But I'll say, I mean, there's always the possibility that he didn't do any of it. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, he did lie about being an engineer, I guess, but maybe he could just consider himself one. Maybe that's why he says it. Maybe in his own mind, he is an engineer, so he doesn't think it's a lie. Because maybe he actually has worked in the field. So I don't know. That's something I like to consider. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here just a little bit.
Because that's what you went to school for. You're like, homeboy's very smart. You do actually business, and then YouTube is a
YouTube is always
thing.
like the secondary side gig.
Even the podcast homies don't know the truth.
This guy has a wife.
Bro, YouTube is definitely not the secondary side gig. There is no way anybody with a literally, you would have to negate the statement about Mutahar being smart if you were to think, or sorry, if he were to actually believe, or believe himself when he says that YouTube is a secondary side gig. Because he'd have to be an idiot. Because he makes so much money off of YouTube that it doesn't even make sense. He doesn't have to do anything else. This man has probably made enough money in his time on YouTube. He could just retire. If he wanted to, spend his money smartly, and he would not have any financial issues for the rest of his life. Something that people at his age generally cannot say they can do. And that probably all came because of YouTube. This man makes a lot of money on YouTube. Let's just be clear. There is no reason for his videos to get demonetized. They're mostly just him talking. He doesn't cover controversial stuff. He's got a massive audience. I'm sure he gets a lot of money out of it. And I'm also sure... Oh, actually, that could make sense. You know, tech ad rates are actually really high. Maybe this was all just so he could classify his channel as a tech channel. Because they get high ad revenue. So maybe that's all it is. Bro just wants more money. I think I just figured out the answer.
He's a CEO, he works 9 to 5, and he uploads daily.
He's literally just the Johnny Sins of YouTube. He's just out here hustling. We don't understand it. You know what would happen if Muta didn't go to work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up,
Bro, Muta doesn't go to work. YouTube itself goes belly up. Google as a company ceases to exist. We will have no more software engineers. Every engineer will catch post-engineer clarity, and they will all vanish off the face of the earth. This man is running every single company, every engineering gig, every single stock. All of them will go under. We will not have an economy. The US's GDP will go from 22 trillion or whatever it's at right now, and it will drop to 0. We will be bankrupt. The president of the United States will be freaking out because he will have to step down. Any president, I don't care who it is, on the day that Mutahar takes a day off because the economy crashes. That's what happens. We will be in a state of emergency, mass panic. And it's all because this man in his Kagebushin no Jutsu that completely helps keep the economy running. And there is absolutely no way in hell that we would survive without this man. He is quite literally the damn Hokage.
Appears. It ceases to exist.
I upload every day and YouTube's not even my job. I was like, shut the f up, bro. But like, yes it is. Shut up, bro.
Even Ethan Klein's spidey senses were tingling.
He has...
Bro, that's quite literally what I was just saying. Like, yes it is. Ethan knows. Ethan's rich as shit from YouTube. He knows, bro. He knows. I don't even, like, I think Ethan's an idiot, but he's right sometimes, and this take is correct.
Has definitely been lying about being an engineer for a decade, benefiting from the prestige, the authority, and the credibility that comes with that label. You don't call yourself an engineer dozens of times without specifying you're talking about programming jobs you did 10 years ago. He's clearly mostly just a self-taught tech enthusiast, not an engineer.
Unlike Mutahar, I'm not a liar. You know, my hands are in the air. I might have been the guy who put Mr. Who's the Boss in the video.
It might not be illegal for Mutahar to lie about being an engineer, but by any reasonable definition, he is a total fraud.
Like,
wait, earlier in the video, this guy was saying it was illegal. Now he's saying it's not illegal? So which, I said I didn't think it was illegal. I mean, the hell, dude, it's not illegal. Like, I didn't think it was. He can say whatever he wants. He's got freedom of, well, I mean, well, at least in the United States, it's freedom of speech. I don't know about in Canada, but I mean, it's probably not illegal, if I had to guess. He could probably call himself an engineer, and it doesn't matter. So yeah, I don't know why this guy was trying to say earlier in the video that it was illegal, but I don't know. This is kind of ridiculous. This video is so overblown, bro.
Most Southeast Asians, his credentials are sus. Shockingly to absolutely no one, Twitter found this as an excuse to be racist, and, you know, I'm gonna stand by my Canadian viewers here for a second. Well,
is anybody shocked that Twitter found this as an excuse to be racist? I mean, dude, it's it's X, bro. It's Twitter. Like, come on.
You know, at least the ones that prefer iPhone to Android.
Why y'all keep on saying the iPhone better than Android? It's just as good.
It's not a race-specific thing to be a habitual liar, so, you know, let's stop that dialogue right there.
He has no computer engineering degree, or even a computer science degree, but he still presents himself as an engineer, a computer engineer, or a computer science engineer.
And I just scratched the tip of the iceberg. This video goes above and beyond to genuinely check it out. But the ending, chef's kiss, absolute cinema.
Oi. Actually looks kind of good. I kind of want some strawberries now. Maybe I'll try to get some strawberries after this. Don't know. I got another video to record after this. Don't know if I'm going to be doing that, but kind of want them now, actually. I don't know.
You have to pay for that, young man. I'm a fucking computer engineer. I don't care.
Oh my god, the switches. Okay. So, I think that we can all agree this is kind of overblown. At least I would hope. A little bit ridiculous. Good video. Go follow, you know, give Westjett a sub, all that stuff. You know, support the original creator and all that. But, honestly, way overblown. This is just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion on the whole thing. But maybe you guys feel differently. Maybe you think that this is the biggest deal ever, and that Mutahar should be hanging his head in shame because he doesn't actually have an engineering degree. I don't know. This is just, honestly, it's kind of insane to me. Like, I get, you know, getting caught lying on the internet, it looks bad, but come on, man. This is just a little bit excessive, and, like, it's like, okay, you could have called him out. Mutahar could or could not have addressed it fine, but, like, this is, like, a whole video just drilling into him about it. Like, this just seems really, like, overkill. Not gonna lie. But, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, you know, tap the sub button, and maybe, drop that you're an engineer at Blizzard down in the comments, you know. Make sure everybody knows about your engineering credentials. You could select what type of engineer you want to be. I don't care. Maybe even go down there. Go to Mutahar's videos even maybe and tell him that you are an engineer. Don't harass him. But, you know, you could always go over there and just be like, hey, Muta, I'm an engineer as well. Because he can't prove it. You're anonymous on the internet. How the hell is he supposed to know you're telling the truth? I mean, we didn't know he wasn't telling the truth. It's fair is fair, right? I think you guys have the right to tell Muta that you're an engineer and that you worked at Blizzard. And he has no way to prove that you don't. Oh, that'd be great. I hope this video does really well and there's actually like hundreds of people that go to Muta's video and start and just comment on it and just say, I worked at Blizzard as an engineer. Okay, maybe don't actually do it, but it would be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.